Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Phil and Rye on Listen Up, and Rye, a very special episode as we come on this Sunday morning. Last check in. Ryan, what do you have for me? Last check in. I know some people, not going to name any names, know some people is going to this very special location, Ryan, for this. What is it? Bahamas is the site, right? For this very special matchup
Yeah.
against Oregon State. And if they do win, he told me they have another game before they head back home.
Yeah, it's the Baha Mar Women's Championship. This game is in the Nassau, Bahamas, and it kind of seems like UConn plays in one of these games every year where they travel to the Bahamas or somewhere similar, somewhere warm, and play in a tournament style event like this. I'm sure it's just nice for the team and all the coaches to kind of travel together and at least get away for the cold for a couple of days, at least for UConn's sake. And like you mentioned, if UConn wins this game against Oregon State on Monday, they will advance to play the winner of either Ole Miss or Boston College. And that game would be Wednesday at either 5 or 7:30. So there's a chance that, of course, UConn would play, and I guess that would technically be the championship game out of those four teams. But now for UConn's opponent on Monday night, it's been a rough start for the year for them. They're 1-4, dead last in the West Coast Conference. This is a team that's fallen victim to the transfer portal. They lost players like Reagan Beers, Talia Van Olahoffen. The Beavers have been a good team in recent years, always in the top 25, but this season it kind of looks like it's going to be a little bit of a rough ride. The scoring has been spread out for Oregon State. They have four players that average around 10 points per game, but the shooting numbers overall haven't looked great. They've only shot 50% in one game. The rest have been 40% or lower. And against Minnesota, they only scored 38 points on 28% shooting. So it's been a rough couple first games for the Oregon State Beavers. So I think for UConn in this game, it's going to be their defense again that leads the charge. They can't allow the Beavers to get anything going. I want to see tough on the ball defense, get in those passing lanes, forcing turnovers like UConn has done in their first four games this year. And I'm also interested to see how many minutes AZ gets in just their second game back. Still not sure if Ayanna Patterson is ready to return, but this is a game that before the season started, just a couple months ago, maybe, I think a lot of us thought this would be a ranked matchup, maybe a competitive game, but the way Oregon State's been playing, it kind of looks like it could be another blowout for UConn.
Yeah, definitely a tough time for Scott Ruick and company, Ryan. So we will go over the comments, say predictions for last. Let's go to the big update for UConn Huskies. Janet Adams came through. She said, "Thank you, Gino and CC, for being the mecca of basketball coaching and development excellence."
Yeah, I mean, they've done an amazing job, of course, for 40 seasons together. I don't, I kind of interested to know if I'm sure they get tired of each other at some point, but it's truly been amazing what they've been able to do all those years in UConn together, and it was a real nice celebration the other night, of course, in Gamble, seeing all their former players. I'm sure that made both Gino and CD really happy. And of course, the cherry on top of all of that, of course, the perfect timing of Gino becoming the all-time wins leader for a college basketball head coach.
All right, Ryan, this is a controversial comment here. Can't wait to tell you. To buy them for the gum says, but who is The go-to defense play. Notre Dame beat this team last year. Not sure you're ready for the top five teams coming up.
Yeah, man, it's definitely going to be a test. And I saw the other day Notre Dame beat USC. So, I've been kind of bigging up this Notre Dame team for the last couple years. And, I think the Fighting Irish might possibly be the toughest test, I guess, besides the South Carolina on UConn's schedule. I think USC obviously is still going to be a tough game. I believe UConn plays Iowa State as well. But when UConn travels to Notre Dame later in the season, I think that probably will be the second hardest test. Obviously, besides when UConn travels to South Carolina later down in the season, I think in February.
All right, one more. BRN Soldier, hey Phil and Rye, can you imagine a team in the WNBA with a UConn starting five? I get goosebumps thinking of it, seeing all the alumni in the building. Let's go UConn.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the stats on that, but I'm sure there's probably been a couple teams that have been pretty close to having an all UConn starting five, or at least five players from UConn on their team because of how many Huskies, of course, get drafted, and that goes back to Gino and CD, and how much of a great job they do with all these kids that come to UConn and make sure that they're pro level ready and get them ready for the next challenge and the next step up. So, that speaks to them and everything that they do there in UConn.
I had to shout out to Angela Schmoke, Ryan. She must have heard me because she goes, I'm even more excited. And she did reply to us. She said that she'll be heading to the Butler game on February the 2nd. She said that she would love to touch base after the game. So, Ryan, we cannot wait to hear back from her. Now, Angela, if you want to send us a private message, rather, and not comment on the video, we love the comments, but if you want to send us an email and actually appear on the show with us, or just touch base, tell us what you thought about the game, we will read that too in the email. So Ryan, you had the email. What is that email?
Yeah, listen up, Maryland at gmail.com if you want to email us after that game, or of course, if anybody else does too, listen up, Maryland at gmail.com.
Now the MD, the Maryland is spelled out, or is it just MD?
It's spelled out, yeah.
Okay, all right, Ryan, predictions for tomorrow night. What is it, 7:30 in the Bahamas? Who wins and the score?
Yeah, with the way Oregon State's been playing, I can't really see them competing with UConn. And like I said, I think it's going to be another blowout victory for the Huskies. So final score, I'll say UConn 82, Oregon State 53 for this game.
All right, Ryan, I'll go UConn all over Oregon State. We'll go 92 to 55. 92 to 55. UConn over Oregon State. And Ryan, we hope to see everybody's beautiful faces in the comments section after this one. And actually, not sure yet if I will be joining you for the game recap tomorrow night, but I will have your notes ready. I'll have you ready for the lights, camera, and the action. Phil and Rye on Listen Up.